What's going on YouTube? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. Have you ever had issues with pests in your garden? Who hasn't, right? So today I'm going to go through my favorite proactive method for pest management. Let's go. If you've gardened before, you've probably dealt with pests. It's basically inevitable. But there are some measures that we can take to reduce the pressure this year and even next year. So that's what we're going to go through now. One of my favorite ones. This is something that most of you guys can just go out and harvest, like I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you how I do it. Before I do, I'm going to show you the ones in here. It's praying mantises. Here we go. To my left here, I got a hazelnut tree, one of the two that I have. This one's a little special though, because it's got something hidden inside. It's got a praying mantis nest right here, so I'm going to come in closer to show you guys. This is one of three I found. I only looked for a few minutes, and the reason I have this nest in here is because 5 years ago I actually came through, and I've got a clip from a video, and 5 years ago I actually found some of these praying mantis nests, brought them on property, and they hatched. And 2 years later I have a little clip of them again where I found them again on the property and they hatched. So I'm going to show you guys that. And after all those years, they're still in the garden working for me. I didn't have to do anything for them, and they're really working to balance out my system. If there's any soft-bodied insects like aphids and things, they come through and eat that kind of stuff. And to the right of me, here's another praying mantis nest. This is on the stalk of an old Cosmo. And Bill Mollison said that a tidy garden isn't a good garden, and to kind of have things all really neat all the time, that's not natural. So to have things a little overgrown, that's not a bad thing. You can create habitats for insects like this, and when the wind blows and the leaves come through, they actually get stuck in growth like this. But to note, I will cut all these stalks down before the spring comes, but I'll go through and make sure that I'm not cutting anything down that has any kind of praying mantis nest or any kind of growth in it. But I will cut the asparagus back because those need to be cut back before spring. As you guys can see by the snow, it's winter time here. This is a good time to go out and harvest the praying mantis nests. They're gonna hatch in the spring, so you wanna make sure you go out and do it before then. When you get some of the warmer days, they'll start to come out because their mothers lay the nests in the late fall, and they're typically gonna be about 1 to 3 feet high in pretty dense bushy areas because they like to be covered. You can see it right there in the middle of the hazelnut bush. And they like blackberries and blueberries, things like that. Right next to the fence line over here, there were a lot of tomatoes and stuff, and also some cosmos. And there's another praying mantis nest on this cosmo. So that's 2 nests I have on the cosmos. Seems like that's a plant they like to put their nests on, so I'll make sure I plant a bunch of more cosmos next year. So now that we know what the praying mantis nests look like, we're gonna go out, find some. I bet I can find some locally. I'll bring you guys along. Let's go. We'll head out now. I'll bring you guys along with me. I'm not bringing Tuck today, although I wish I could, but I'm not gonna bring him today. So it's not too far from my house. I would say about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna bring you to a location that I've seen him in previous years. I've seen him here, so I have a good feeling that they're gonna be here, and they're in a location that they usually are, which is somewhere that's like a nice brushy area, and this is next to sort of an open field, and it's actually next to a main highway too, which could be a little surprising, but they don't mind too much as long as there's a lot of insects for them to predate on, and they can have a lot of cover, especially for when they're laying the nests. Okay, we're almost here. I'm right down the street from where I'm gonna be going, and it's right by a residential neighborhood. You can see out the sides. Nowhere special, but there's someone who owns a restaurant right over here, and that's where I'm going. It's on their property. I'll show you guys the location right over here. It's back there. It's back there in the thick brush. That's where I'm gonna be looking. That thick brush is perfect for praying mantis nests. All right, just pulled up. I'm just gonna try to go right from the car and see if I can find one right away. See if we picked the right spot. That's what's really the most important part. You don't wanna just go looking aimlessly. Picking the right location, so important. And I'm right next to it. It's a relatively open kind of area right here. And you can see it starts to get really thick, the brush. And then I'm right next to a highway, so nothing special. But like I've said in previous years, I've seen a few back here. Now we're looking for something like that's going to be tall but relatively strong. Look at this right away. Right away we've got praying mantis nest. 2 seconds within looking, and when you got the eye for it, that's what you have to have. This one's a little higher than usual, and I usually see them, but right here we got another one right in the back. Barely had to move. Another one already. So again, location is so important. And once you find the right spot, you'll see a lot of them. That was 2 right away. I just came over to it. You can see I haven't been over here by my footprints. That was 1 set of footprints. That was the first time I just walked up. So again, location. And if you know a spot, remember it. This way in the future you could come back to it next year, because if you're going to go and harvest them, you don't want to harvest all of them. That's one thing I really want to note and stress to you guys, that you want to take maybe 1 or 2. You don't want to take too many, especially from one location. But look at this mother load right here. 3 of them. 1, 2, 4, 3, another one behind it. 4, 5. So 5 nests right here. Great area. So if you guys are going to go looking, I suggest maybe I see another one right back there. This location over here is loaded with them. There's just so many. I think I found about 12 of them. There's more on the ground. Right there, you can see. Another one. And there's a plethora. But one thing is that this is all poison ivy in here, so this isn't where I want to grab mine. I'm going to go over to a different location, right back where I started. Those ones look like they're going to be a lot more friendly to grab. I'm only going to grab about 2 nests. They're for the new food forest. Got to get it going. That's kind of one of the phases, kind of a little bit of the preparation. But I'm going to cut this one here. This one's about 4 feet high, and they can be higher than I said. It's typical that they're 1 to 3 feet tall. That's just where you want to keep your eyes when you're browsing and looking. So I'm going to cut this one at 3 to 4 feet, about there. And the reason I want to do that is so when I stick it in the garden, it'll be about that same height, 1 to 3 feet off the ground in its natural height, because I don't want it laying on the ground. Right back here, about a foot from where I was, I see 4 of them. So I'm gonna grab the camera and I'll show you guys them. And I'll just grab 1 more of them. You can see just right here, there's 2. Right there. And then right to my right, another 2. So they're everywhere in here. And right behind me is another one. Once you can get the eye for it and you find the spot, they're everywhere. There's 2 more back there. So I don't feel bad for taking a couple. Make sure when you go out to harvest your own that you bring your own snippers though. You don't want to forget that. And I don't want to put them in a bag or anything. I'll just put it in my truck and bring it home. And then I'll put it right into the garden. That should be all good. Got my 2 praying mantis nests for the food forest. I wanted to bring you guys along for this. This is just part of the journey. Going out and harvesting them. One thing is they're free, and another thing is, like I said, it's the journey. It's fun to go out and do it. And as I build this food forest, I'll look back and I'll be able to see those praying mantis years later and be like, hey, I went out and got those. And I also like these when you go out and get them yourself, because they're localized, they're climatized, I think. I think they do better. I mentioned a number of times how location is important. I just wanted to give you guys a view of the area that I found them. So it's not a huge open field right next to a restaurant. There's a main road right there. And this is just marsh right here. But on the other side is the bay. So this could kind of be like an edge. Even though it's not the direct edge, but the edge is extending a little bit. That's why you're getting the reeds. Because that area floods. It's not dry all year long. And because it floods, that probably brings in a lot of different kinds of insects. When you have a grassy area here, an area that floods, you're getting the edge, you're getting a lot of different insects. It's very rich. So that's probably why the praying mantis are putting all their nests there. So look for a location like this if you can. It's also got rotted trees there. So that's probably bringing in more insects. So this is just a perfect spot if you're a praying mantis. I see a lot of birds' nests up there too. Another indicator that there's a lot of insects. So find a good location, and I've looked other spots before and I didn't find anything. But this spot, you can feel it. And it sounds silly, but when you find the right spot, you should be able to feel it. All right, that was a great success. Let's get this stuff back to the food forest. And you don't want to leave these in your car, guys, especially on a sunny day, because a few warm days and these will start opening up. They'll think it's spring. So you want to get them right back home and get them into your garden right away. You don't want to baby them. Nature doesn't do it, so we want to just kind of copy what nature does. So that's what I'm going to do. Go home, stick them right in the ground in my food forest for now, and then as I finish up getting my new food forest area ready, and before spring comes, I'll put those praying mantis nest in there. Get the good insects added in the beginning. This way we have a good balance between the bad insects and good insects. Okay guys, we are on the last leg of the journey, but the sun is starting to wane, starting to set. We don't got that much time. I don't know if we're gonna make it. We need to get these praying mantis nests in the garden ASAP. Hopefully Tuck's been holding down the fort, watching the food forest. We don't want any intruders. So let's bring it back, bring it back. I didn't check on the side garden over here if there were any praying mantis nests yet. I'll have to look. I don't see any right off the bat though. Here it is, the moment of truth. We're back, we made it. And I grabbed one extra one. This way if someone comes and visits, I can give it away. For now, I'm just gonna put these next to the other ones in the food forest. And that was a lot of fun, that journey. Thanks for coming along with me, guys. I hope you learned something and you had a lot of fun too. And this is something that could be a great time if you have kids to bring them out, maybe show them a picture on the internet and then have them go out and look for them. I think that'd be an awesome time. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. And make sure if you go out and you harvest some praying mantis, send me a picture on Facebook. This way I can like it and share it with my friends too. See you guys in the next one.